Close to midnight, something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. Door slam, realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel a cold hand and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and know that this is just imagination. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind. You're out of time, 'cause this is chance against the thing with 40 eyes. You know it's thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a thriller this thriller night. And I can feel you more than any ghost would ever dare to try. Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a thriller tonight. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood.
And we are going live with the making of a TTRPG, tabletop RPG, 3980. We're continuing with our talk on creating a character. Last week we went through stats, archetypes, which are the classes, and we're going to do races. If the music is too loud, I'll knock it out. Knock it out a little bit. That should be better. I want to have music up in the background, but shouldn't interrupt too much. So welcome to the stream. We'll be doing this about now 4 weeks. This is probably the 4 weeks, doing it on Saturdays or Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings, depending on my schedule. Tonight I had a free night, so I said, let's make it at night. I don't know how long I'm going to be, working on this, but a bit of a rundown. Characters in 3980 are what, borrowing a term, and I could probably, if I figure out a new term, then I'll work with that. What it's, by the way, here's into Miracle Song, level 1. That is name of the album. So kudos to Miracle Sound for allowing the music to be used for free. Yeah, well, not for free, copyright free. You actually have to buy the music whenever possible. Characters are troubleshooters, and I borrowed that term. Well, actually, I had the term, and then I found out that term was used in Star Frontiers, which was an old TSR sci-fi 80s sci-fi RPG. So I'm going to reuse that term. I don't know if it's under copyright by Wizard of the Coast. If it is, well, then we'll have to do something else. Stats, as we know, run from -3 to +3. The math so far, as I'm calculating, is that no bonus, either situational bonuses, equipment bonuses, stats, or etc., should give you more than a +6 or -6 on a D20. So it's stat plus situational bonus plus the D20 against a target number. The archetypes of Moon Sarge, Ace Pilot, Hardboiled Cop, Frontier Doctor, Xenoscientist, Hacker, Grease Monkey, and Psychic. I'll get into the specifics of some of these things, especially the. I'm also probably going to include Cyborg maybe as a phenotype perhaps, but we're gonna stay with what we have right now. The phenotypes that we have right now. The idea is, and in this world, on this universe, you don't really have aliens, like intelligent alien species, at least known intelligent alien species. But you do have races. As humanity expanded throughout now the area is known as the Solar Consortium and attended areas, about 300 years in a cube, about 300 years centered on Earth in all directions, 300 light years, which is a lot of space. Many humans, in order to survive in new environments, use a combination of genetic engineering, cybernetics, and terraforming. And the races that are available are the ones that sort of became and created cultures in the 2000 or so years, from the 1980s to the 3980s, right? And rose and fell and all that. So there's plenty a lot of time for that. And the races we have are the Avendorians, the Moirans, the humans, the Saurians, and the Simians. As you create your character, part of character creation, you don't roll for stats. I mean, I'm thinking of that we know roll or point assembly. Instead, you get bonuses or penalties, mostly bonuses, from your archetype, your phenotype, and other aspects of your background. Avendorians, let me just talk about Avendorians here. Let's knock them out to about 80 and change the Times New Roman, of course, because it's easier to read that way. Avendorians are, if we're going to be completely honest, they're space elves, right? They are the only inherently psionic race. It was discovered a long time ago that there was psionic potential in humanity, and through genetic manipulation, that was brought to the forefront. Um, and the Avendorians, when they discovered that, they purposely created a race. They molded themselves so that they would have psionic potential. So the only psionic race you can in this setting, phenotype. Let's say phenotype. Phenotype. That's called phenotypes because they're they're variants of humanity, right? They're except for the simians, which we'll get into in a moment. Like phenotype in the consortium. They so let's give them some stat bonuses. So they already gonna have where is there is a archetype for psychic, which is distinct from being psionic potential, right? They have latent psionic potential. So Avendorians always start with at least one ability, psionic ability, one base, but one random psionic ability. Stats. Just like psychics, they have +1 to intellect and presence. Being the space elves of the setting, they, in fact, their technology, to describe technology, is centered around psionics. They use psi tech. Expertise. Psi tech. They know they are knowledgeable of technology that is linked to or used for psionics. But that also means that they have the first penalty. They are someone who's raised Avendorian in their planet, Avendor. All the technology is psi tech. So, it's Crystal Toga's kind of situation. Their weapons, everything is from they've developed long enough that they have technology. That means that as I don't know, put it a penalty with the word a penalty. What would be a penalty? Handicap. Let's use the word handicap. Handicap. -1 to any rolls, any tech rolls outside, not involving psi tech. The explanation for that is that you want that door to open, well, or you want to order a golem around a construct type. You just think about it and it does it, right? You want to open a door, just think about it and it does, right? Their computers, everything is done by this sort of intuitive psionic situation. You're manipulating things with telekinesis or thinking about it, emotional based, technology. That means that using regular computers, flying regular ships, etc., doesn't work for them because they're not used to it. In fact, I would say instead of -1, let's set -1 for now because I don't know if I want to use the disadvantage side of the advantage disadvantage dice using 5th edition, copyright and all that. So, and that's it. That's the Moirans. Moirans are the space orcs, and they were created by the Avendorians in clear violation of many a treaty. To serve them, right? To be a slave race, right? They do have constructs, psionic constructs, and all that, like robots, but they wanted to continue to sort of perfect. They and the Saurians, the Mandalorians, believe in perfecting humanity. That they are the true path of humanity. uh, that by continuing to experimenting genetically, in this case of Andorians exploiting their psionic ability, they will be more than human. Transhumanism, they're big believers in transhumanism in their own way, right? And part of that was that they could also create other people, not simply modify the 16 genetic stock, but really sort of create new people from humans. And extensively they created this race to serve them. So what are the psionic phenotype is, hard working, former slaves of the Avendorians, resistant, immensely immense. They are strong, and strong. They're strong, stronger, and resistance and resilient. Resilient. So stat wise, and I know that's a mistake, right? Resilient. Okay. Stats. They are. Let's see what stats we have. Stamina. Stamina, agility. Okay, I'm thinking that. Yeah, that. While they have presence, no, it's not presence. It's agility. So there'll be +1 to stamina. Actually, +2 to stamina. To stamina. They're just very resilient, right? So you want to make a bruiser type character, right? Frontline fighter. Moirans are perfect expertise. Hand-to-hand combat. Well, they don't have an expertise, so they also don't have a hand. Well, they do have a handicap. They don't have a handicap. I'm not gonna make them like, they know how to use technology normally and all that. It's just that they're very strong, right? That's basically their thing. Humans, baseline humans from the Soul system. These are essentially, regularly speaking, unmodified humans, right? They have more flexibility, and in many ways, they're still, because there was a time a huge backlash against genetic manipulation. They're in many ways still seen as the ideal, the pure ideal. There's in some places at least. In fact, wars were fought about humanity purity and all that. And so, also humans are baseline, right? They're the baseline. So they get +1 to 2 stats, right? And that's it. That's what they get. They don't get any expertise. And remember, the reason why I gave handicap to the Andorians is because I gave them expertise, right? Saurians are, the snake people, right? They're reptilian snake people. If you ever watch Nebula Jazz, the race that the Jesse Cox character comes from in the first run of the show, pretty much that, right? And just like what Jesse Cox did, it's very important. They have a lot of differences. So you have some people that are very like snake people, like Yuanti in D&D, but you have people like the reptilians, like lizard folk, lizard men. You have people that are just barely scaled, that sort of thing. They too believe phenotype, reptilian, amphibian, also includes amphibians as well. Amphibian, a collection of humans with of phenotypes that incorporate uh, amphibian, reptilian features. Right. The Saurians also believe, like the Evandorians, that they're pushing the envelope to become more than human, transhumanism. But they believe in it. The Evandorians believe in psionic potential. Potential of the mind. The Saurians believe in the potential of the genes, right? And they've been experimenting. They're scientists and all that have been heavily experimenting with different types of hybrids, and they basically narrow it down to amphibian features and reptilian features, right? So stats, they they tend to have high agility, +1 agility, and I would say stamina as well, and stamina. Features. I say expertise because it's a thing. Now, feature is something. Expertise is like skills. So a feature is not a skill. It's just actually, yeah, expertise. Camouflage. A lot of them, at least the player phenotypes, player character races, essentially have a bonus to can re-roll a stealth check once per scene. Now they have bonuses to that, but they also have a handicap, handicap. And that handicap is -1 to presence. To presence. Since they are the most alien of the known phenotypes. In other words, people sort of go, you're so weird, so disconnected. Your irises, you have like pupils that are snake-like. You have scales, all these things. So it's like, it's kind of off-putting for them, right? So it's like, this is not a thing. And finally, we have simians. And simians are not a modified human stock phenotype. What they are, in fact, is ascended. In this case, they're ascended orangutans. I'm thinking apes. They're ascended apes, but I'm thinking the specific one. Chimpanzees. They're ascended chimpanzees. What's cool about the simians is that because they're ascended from another branch, not a branch of humanity, they can think, they can talk like with humans and all that. And in fact, they were ascended to be not exactly a slave race, perhaps. In fact, the rules against creating, particularly in ascending creatures, and the laws of the Republic and now the Consortium against that were created after the simians came about, because the simians were created essentially to be space grease monkeys. Literally, that's where the archetype comes from. There's a little overlap. Although anybody can be a grease monkey, right? Okay. Stats. +1 to agility. They have +2 to agility. Expertise. Tech mastery. Can re-roll a any tech, a computer tech roll once a scene. By the way, scenes here, the way the game goes is that you have your you have your action scenes, and you have your drama scenes. So and that's something that the GM should, it's like, oh, now should signal post, like, now you're in a drama scene, right? Talking, negotiating. Action scenes can be anything where there's actual physical danger. It necessarily has to be a shootout. It can be shooting, combat, flying, dangerous flying, anything that is like in a movie, right? Remember, this is supposed to emulate like a movie. So action scenes are, chase sequences, shootouts, duels, running away from an explosion, stuff like that, trying to break into a place, that sort of thing. But there's, real danger, basically physical danger, torture sequences, whatever, right? While drama scenes are interactions between characters, something like that. Of course, there's overlap, because in action scenes we have people talking to each other and whatnot, and then you can have certain amounts of types of danger that are not have physical danger, but still be, or it could failure to do achieve your goals in a drama scene can lead to physical danger as well. So there's overlap, but that's sort of more of a flavor thing. And also the sign that once you're saying, okay, I'm in a scene, and there's also a difference in action scenes, like combat. In many games, you roll initiative, where in drama scenes you don't have to. Initiative is optional here, but can be used as optional if you want to. You don't have to follow it, but it's there. There's initiative rules. Handicap -1 to WT. Basically, they're the fragile tech masters, right? They're very agile, which means they have higher, initiative, and stuff like that. Actually, no. I'm gonna call it a feature. Tech mastery. That's the thing about changing things on the fly. What do you think? Should it? Because one of the things about it is that they are. Okay, let me see what Grease Monkey already has that, right? Yeah, they can already have that if you're a Grease Monkey, so no. Prehensile limbs, feet. Can re-roll and acrobatics roll once per scene. Well, that's better. Handicap is -1 to wound threshold. Wound threshold is very similar to what happens in Savage Worlds. You have a sort of resistance. It's your stamina +1 plus your armor, if anything, and also cover and all that counts in. So if you have armor of 1 and you have stamina of 1, you have wound threshold of 3, because base 1, armor, stamina. So they always have at least 1. In the case of them, they're pretty small. In fact, I'll load up a picture that I found on the interwebs, so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Of course, I don't own these pictures. I just have them. They belong to their respective copyright holders. These are just filler. Here it is. I found it. This is very much a well, this will be cybernetics, a simian, right? It's a ascended chimpanzee who was created, or they were created to. Now you can say he has +1 to stamina as well, because chimpanzees can be pretty strong, but let's just keep it on agility. Actually, because because of the small size, they are -1 to wound threshold, right? Actually, no, that's not it. Okay, I'm gonna give one agility and stamina. And the handicap is gonna be yeah, that's not gonna be that. It doesn't make any sense for us to be weaker than their, why I send them if no tech hoarder. Um, Simians cannot find it hard find it hard to no tech savvy leads them to hoard all manner of technology regardless of use of not use use need. I mean, they'll probably spend a lot of money. That means that they'll always live in cramped conditions, spend a lot of money just to get that cool tech gadget because they need to have it, right? Now that's the thing with them. So we have, I think, now we go to backgrounds, and this is where things get interesting because Jack background. I have an idea how I want to do backgrounds from the player's point of view. I want to do it as a sort of fill in the blanks kind of situation. Like you were born in X and your family raised you. Once the idea is you have your you say okay well, you can start basically with phenotype if want to start with sort of race, stats, race. I did it. I put first the archetype, but that can be revert. It can be swapped. I'm not. This is very early stuff. So I'm not married to anything right here. All this is meant to be changed. And since I'm not married to it, that's not really a problem. But the thing about it is that background be like okay, you are X, that's your so and so, and your family was rich, poor. So let's start with some of the things that because I wanted to do sort of like a lifestyle path thing, like in Traveler. So things that yeah, things that a character has to have in order to to know about it. Planet of origin. Okay, let me change this to again Times in Roman. Planet of origin. Background points. Let's call them that for now. Or features. Planet of origin. Family status. Training / career. Any career. Previous. Prior. How do I put that? How do I write that? Because some of them can give you bonuses and stuff and extra expertise. Career training. That's stuff that you've done before you joined the you joined the troubleshooters. Social class. That's very important. That one is very important. Now, planet origin, for example, could be. I'm not gonna say heavy world or light worlders. I'm not gonna go to that, but I say, for example, agrarian, industrial, pleasure, pleasure planet or vacational planet, vacation, vacation planet, um, university, university, um, um, planetoid. Includes it's like the like in this in the expanse where you have some people who live in Mars, some people who live on Earth, and then you have some people who live in asteroids and stuff like that. Asteroids. I'm gonna put it here. Asteroids. Asteroid. And we also have like these space communities, like space pirates and raiders and just traders and all that. So, what would I call transient? Transient. So that's planet or place of origin. Let's say called place of origin. That's what dominates that planet, right? It gives you a good idea of I'll call it entertainment, vacation, entertainment. The main export of the planet and what do they do and stuff like that. And this is very important because as the players fill in the backgrounds, and this is what they do in session 0, they learn from each other and they start filling the blanks of the particulars of their version of 3980. Right. The idea is that the setting provides some aspects of this, right? Some when I put this, I'm looking for a word. Some outer boundaries of things that happened in the past, how you get here, races, etc. But the specifics of each character and the specifics of the way they approach 3980 should be unique to each group, right? There's some things in common. And for example, say, I come from a mostly agrarian. Okay, not university. I'll call it research. Research. And by the way, they call it place of origin because let's not make it just an entire planet that is a agro planet, right? It could be places within. You could like go from Earth, but you live, and you come from the Ukraine or the North American Midwest. That would be a agrarian background, right? Social class, transience. Okay, I call it vagrant. Vagrant. And mining. Instead of asteroid, let's call it mining. Because necessarily has to be asteroid mining. Vagrant is we'll call it traders. Trader. Right? Which could be in planet side, it could be in planet side. Social class, vagrant, which is someone doesn't have a home or anything like that. Working class, middle class, working class, middle class, upper class. These are the ones who start. For example, these give you one expertise, right? That's if you're a farm boy, you kind of know around your way around the farm. That's just the upbringing, right? Place of origin. I'll call it not place of I'll call it upbringing instead of upbringing instead of because it fits better. Not only gives flavor, but plus or minus minus 2 wealth. Wealth is a stat here, and so vagrant and working class, like vagrant has a minus -2 to wealth. You come from, you have nothing. You're completely homeless. You live on the streets. You have nothing. Working class is -1. Middle class is 0, and upper class. I think I'm gonna put upper class gives you +1. Right, middle class would give you no. Vagrant gives you -1. Working class gives you 0. Middle class gives you +1, and upper class gives you +2. Right, I think that's better. Upper class is anything from wealthy all the way to mega rich. Wealth is not the total amount of money you have, but rather and I discussed this last week. I'll repeat it again. It is the kind of money you have at hand at any one moment. So, okay, vagrant. -2 to wealth. -1. There's no plus. You say, oh, well, why isn't middle class +0, right? Or working class +0? I put +1 in middle class because it's wealth is not it's not only it's any money it takes into account both the fact accumulated wealth, right? So you didn't if you go to say university or something like that and you're from a middle class background, you probably your parents gave you some money, right? And you have chances to get loans and stuff like that. So you're not. Of course, this is. The reason why I want to give more than a +2 or +3 is that beyond their ratings beyond +3, like I said, you can go +6, -3, and +3, and a total amount of +6. So they're much higher ratings when it comes to this. But if a character has a lot of money, right, and you're doing a campaign, for example, where your troubleshooters are the commercial troubleshooters, right? They work for companies, either a troubleshooting company that just hires out experts, the troubleshooters, by contracts, what have you, or they work for a corporation, something like that. It's kind of hard to justify working in that environment without when you have too much money. Unless you're the head of this, you're CFO or CEO or company, something like that. One could argue a rich person could still serve a government out of a sense of patriotism or seeking political power. Well, maybe you could try to do the same thing for a corporation, but corporate status. But yeah, I don't know. I'm working on it. Family status. Family status is very important, and it will also give you some bonuses. Here, you also have contacts. All characters start with one contact, which is an open space where, oh, I need to talk to someone. Yeah, I have a contact. Family status is people that you know. Family status is just a matter of merely of immediate family, as you'll see in a moment. Orphan, right? Single parent. Nuclear family, extended family, clan. Now, orphan and single parent don't give you any. Orphan is you have no parents and no siblings and no, you're an orphan. You're alone in the world. The game assumes that if you're an orphan, a single parent is you and your parents. So those don't give you any bonuses. But nuclear family, extended family, and clan, include things like siblings, stuff like that. So here you have +1 contact, parent, sibling, child, usually. Sibling, child. One obligation. The way you you balances these bonuses is that since they're done through family and not through other outlets, those contacts are free, but they come with obligations. You can gain more contacts in story. Uh, as a one contacts are also a way for the GM to reward players. Like, oh, you did this, you helped this person, so now they can become your contact, right? You help, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, you know. But each contact, but this one comes with obligations. Um, um, and that means that you can ask them for a favor, but they're going to ask you for a favor in return. Um, plus two contacts. Oh, mm. Includes cousins, nieces, nephews, grandparents, grandchildren. Two obligations. Grandchildren. Wow. Grand. That means that for every contact that you have in a family, you also have an obligation. They're going to go and ask you for something in return. Or they might just say, I'm going to ask you for this, right? I may change that because it seems like I'm thinking about it as a good idea, but again, it needs to be tested because the idea of having the contacts is that that's immediate family, right? So there's that. Um, plus three contact. Actually, no. Instead of number obligation is uh, called light obligation. Light obligation. Uh, serious obligation. Contact includes uncles, aunts and uncles, aunts, uncles, and family friends, right? Severe obligation. Okay, let me change that because light obligation is I scratch my back, you scratch me, and that's each contact has a light. The better they also have a rating +1 from plus to 1 to +3, and the better the contact, the more the obligation, right? It's if you ask somebody to come to the rescue for you, right? Very loyal to you, that's also going to come with a lot of strings attached, right? That's a way of balancing. So severe obligation. Career training. Well, 1x free expertise. That should be discussed between the GM. I'll have a list of expertise, so they can choose from. Should make sense, and +1 contact, or +1 contact, and light, serious, severe. Right. That tells you how indebted they are to you because it's a reciprocal, yes, relationship. How much they owe you and how much you owe them. It's the difference between, hey, I need some I want you to sort of peek in and look at that piece of paper and tell me, if there's a certain name there versus, minimal risk versus I want you and the entire clan to show up, guns blazing and save my hide. You know, that's a way, because one of the things about context is it can be very useful, but I want to avoid the situation where the players are, oh, we're the heroes here, or at least the protagonist, but we're not going to do anything because I'm going to call my contact and they're going to solve everything for me. I'm trying, this is sort of an anti-weasel rule, you know, because I played with those types of players before. So yeah. So this is pretty much character creation. Character creation is supposed to be pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get your bonuses, and in the end of the day, again, the rule. Let's go back to rule number one, numero uno. Stats start at 0 and range from -3 to +3. That is, you cannot exceed +3 or drop -3 with penalties or bonuses at any time, at least during character creation. So that is it for character creation. Next week, I think we're going to be talking about NPC design and putting and more. There's going to be more of GM, talk about the game and putting a face to villains and NPCs. But for now, thank you all for coming. I think I'm gonna take a short break and then I'm going to. No, actually, no. I'm gonna call it a night. It's a short stream, but I'd like to thank everybody for being here. This will be uploaded probably to YouTube and also be free on the VOD here on Twitch. So thank you all, and we will see you when we see you. And thanks to Miracle Sound for providing the music. So we'll see you when we get to see you. Bye bye.